Hello and welcome to the Focus on Real Estate live talk show where we provide valuable knowledge and information on laws, regulations, and procedures on buying, selling, renting, and leasing all types of properties. This show hosts different guests who are experts to share their knowledge and experiences on issues relating to the real estate industry. Also, we look at what the government and other institutions are doing to help solve many problems relating to the real estate industry. Problems like climate change, country planning, environmental protection, and many more. In today's second episode, we are going to be looking at where to buy properties in the Western area in Sierra Leone. When it comes to location, people want to be in a neighborhood that feels safe for them and their families. Location represents class, lifestyle, and value. So, deciding where to invest has a direct link with all of this. You need an idea as to where and why you choose to invest in a particular location. Thus, Global Salon Property and Investment Company Limited is here to ensure that we explain to you all there is to know about where to buy properties in the Western area in Sierra Leone. For this amazing discussion, we have with us a real estate consultant with over 7 years of experience in the real estate industry. He is also the head of operations at Global Salon Property and Investment Company Limited. His name is Mr. Ismail Sheku Umar Kebe. Mr. Kebe, hello and welcome to the show. Mr.
Hello,
Kebe, hello and welcome
Khadija.
to the show.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, Khadija. Good afternoon, and
How are
thank
you,
you very
sir?
much for having me this afternoon. I'm doing quite well. I
Welcome.
hope you too.
Um,
Yeah.
Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be dealing with the various locations to buy properties in the Western area in Sierra Leone. In that regard, we would love for you to take us through some of the different zones or areas we have in the Western area so that we can get a clear description and understanding about these zones before we delve into the topic proper.
Yes. When it comes to property locations, in terms of investments, whether it's residential, whether it is commercial, in fact, locations has a greater percentage. Like he rightly said, it bears the class, the safety and security of the individuals, and the class it belongs, and the lifestyles associated with those locations. So, location is very important. And for western area of the Republic of Sierra Leone, according to the new midterm population census, Statistics Sierra Leone actually has delineated the western area into both western area rural and western area urban. For western area rural, this has many villages across, which actually amounted to they have their district headquarters at Waterloo. And for western area urbans, which include Freetown and its environs, it has three different distinct areas. You have the west, you have the central, and the east. According to Statistics Alone, they have classified these different locations into western area rural, western, the West 1, West 2, and West 3. Then we have Center 1, Center 2, we have East 1, East 2, and East 3. So these are the various locations. So if you permit me, I would share my screen for the better understanding of the viewers in order for them to understand what exactly we are discussing here today. Yeah, this is actually the new this is actually the new uh, delineation according to statistics trials. You see, we have Koya Rural for the western area rural. These contain many villages. Then I will give you information later as we go. Then we have mountain rural. They have villages that actually combine and make up the west and the mountain rural. We have the Waterloo rural, and we have York rural. And this York rural is actually an extension of the western area rural that has become part of the western area. Initially, it was part of Putloko under Uni chiefdom. Then again, we move to western urban. We have central 1, we have central 2, then we have east 1, east 2, and east 3. Then we have west 1, west 2, and west 3. For statistics trials, there has been a release of data in terms of the population sizes, male, female, and the general populations. So this actually is the new. This actually comprise the new delineation of the western area. So as we continue discussion, I will maybe share my thought in terms of these different locations and how they relate to value, class, and that of lifestyle and safety and security of individual interested in investing in any of these locations.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kebe. By identifying these various zones or locations, I believe it is important for us to look at some of the futures or economic lifestyle that can be found in these various zones or areas that you have listed to give our viewers or customers an insight of what they should be expecting in these different locations. So, we would love for you to give us some of the lifestyle or economic lifestyle or features that can be found in these different locations. Hello, hello, Mr. Kebe, unmute your mic.
Okay, sorry,
It's okay.
Khadija, sorry about that. And again, I was talking about okay. I was talking about the different locations. So, for Freetowns, in terms of the different locations which have a distinct geography at the same time in terms of commercial activity, lifestyle, and that of the socio-economic safety and security of the place. So, for Western area urban, where we have Central 1, Central 2, East 1 and East 2. These three locations for Central 1 and Central 2, these are basically the old Freetown, referred to the old Freetown. And this include Upgone to Saka Stephen Street, Saka Stephen Street to St. John Campbell Street. This comprises the Central 1, Central 2, Central 1, Central 2, West 1. So these locations actually they are largely commercial area with residential area. Major streets along this location we have Kisi Road, we have Abacha Street, we have Mountain Court, we have Sakila Road, we have Wilberforce Street, and with all other um, cut across locations along the western area, along the central 1, central 2. These areas where we have most commercial activity in the city, then we have some residential area going towards the mountain hills, up to Mount Turel and Ginger Hall, including Sumalaton, all those areas. These are all areas that belonging to these locations. So if we move to west and west 1, west 2, west 3, you have this where we have largely residential area with few commercial activities going on the main major streets, along the major street like Brookfields. We have West 1, then we have Congo Cross, Congo Aberdeen, and Hill Station where we have West 2, West 3. So all these locations has a mix of activities. We have commercial activity, residential activity. One feature of Freetown is we don't have a specific location where we have this is actually exclusive residential area, exclusive commercial area, but we have a nice largely mix of activities going on everywhere in the city. So if you are interested in buying commercial property, then you would want to consider major street in the western in West 1, West 2, and West 3. Then as of course central is largely commercial area. So all the major streets within the central 1 and central 2, they are they have commercial activity going on. For East 1, for East 2, where we refers to Wellington, sorry, Upgone to Wellington, these are areas we have refers to West East 1. These are mostly low income or average income, middle income locality. We have mix of commercial activities on the major street, but they are largely low income dwellers. A mix of it is semi-informal setting. They have semi-informal setting because they lack most of good access to good road and electric water supply also. So this is one and is two and is three. We have Calbaton, where we have Allentown, plus all the other location up to Jue Junction, where we have the cutoff for the western area urban that include Freetown. So if you are interested in buying property, you would have to consider these locations very critically to understand whether your purpose of the investment is commercial or it is for residential. So if it is commercial, you would have to consider major streets along these areas we've stated. Then you would have also want to consider the informality of the community. Then if you want safety, if you are considering residential building in a very quiet neighborhood, then you would have to consider West 2 and West 3. Yes, of course, if you are interested in safe communities, some area locations like Spor Road, Hills, part of Hill Station, Aberdeen, these are all areas that you would have to consider. Then again, along the West 3, where we have Aberdeen, Lumley, Juba and the mountain areas going forward to the Regent or so those areas we have they are largely residential areas plus a average and high income communities. And in terms of safety and securities, West 1 and West 2 and West 3, they are the safest. And some uh, perspective has been in terms of scholarly publications have been made in terms of these delineations. So if you want to know more, you can refer to those locations. And we also have, as a global salon, have also authored an article in terms of what are the features you would have to consider in terms of buying property in these different locations with their perspective in terms of location, investment, that of safety and security. So when you are considering why it is very important in terms of investment, this location has their specific features in terms of investment. So you have to be very particular in terms of value, resale value, in terms of security, in terms of access to amenities. And if you are interested in investing in kind of commercial buildings, furnished apartment that we have a particular targeted group, then this is where the location comes in. You have to be very considerate in terms of where you can have the demand, the targeted customers before you go and invest in any kind of building. So for our client or customer that are considering buying properties, if you want to invest in furnished apartment, then West East 2 and East 3, they are not the best option. Then, if you have time, I will go back to Western Urban as we continue the program, Western area rural and how the villages, the four areas that we have identified and how they actually match up in terms of Western area rural, so Western area urban, which we have discussed.
Okay, Mr. Kebe, thank you very much. As you mentioned earlier, um, it is evident that different properties serve different purposes. It just depends on the location or the zone, right? And you said different purposes like residential, commercial, and industrial. So in that light,
Mm.
kindly explain to us how an individual should purchase a particular property in a specific location depending on his or her objectives or purpose.
Yes, for those that are interested in buying property, then if you know Freetown very well, you would make sure you have an idea in terms of objective what you actually want to buy the property for. So if you are considering having a residential buildings for vacation or for your own return at the end of the day, then considering um, these locations, the western area rural, certain community within the western area rural, then we'll talk about in the as the program continue. Then they can be one of the best options. Then the again western urban where we have central one, central two, and east one and east two and east three, west one, west two, and west three. If you are interested in buying commercial activities that might want to consider a resale value, then what would happen if you actually wanted to like sell the property again and go into another investment or invest in a larger property, then locations is very important, specifically because at the end of the day, when you want to resell again, then you don't want to have your property value like in a situation you wouldn't want to find yourself in a situation you are unable to sell the property just because of nobody's interested in it. Then if then in that case, then considering central one and central two on some part of west one, west two, and west three, they are the best options because those location has a greater demand, and at the end of the day, you can be able to sell very fast, quickly. Then again, if you are considering having a property that where you want to invest in residential apartment, then considering depending to your target, do you want to target low income earners or average income earners, or you want to target high income earners like the expatriate, the NGO community, the UN staff? Then considering West 2, West and West 3, they are the best options. Areas like Spur Loop, Spur Road, Wilberforce, Wilkinson Road, Aberdeen. These are locations that you can have a multi office or apartment building for both furnished and unfurnished clients. So these are the locations. So for East 2, if your budget, if you have a very constrained budget, then you want to target low income earners for 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom apartment, then East 2 and East 3, they are your best options. Here, you can be able to have a piece of land for an affordable price. Then also you can put up your house for low or average income earners for 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. So at the end of the day, this your budget and against your purpose actually direct kind of investment you would want to consider in terms of location. Then you don't want to sell all your savings just to invest in a particular locations. You have to consider what maybe an investment in central one, does it work the kind of the piece of land, the value of the land alone might cost, a piece of land might cost $100,000 and above. Then similar amount, such amount can also buy another piece of land in the east one or east two, or sorry, east three, is two, where you can buy property within $50,000 and below. Then you have that $50,000 can also have you, let me say, an apartment, 3 bedroom apartment. So it's all depend on your purpose and your budget. So if you really want to invest, you would have to consider your purpose and the budget.
Okay, Mr. Kibe, thank you very much. Looking at some of these purposes, I would love for you to guide those who are interested to go into, let's say, luxurious um, zones. What will be your advice for these kinds of people? What areas will you recommend for these kinds of people?
Like I said earlier, in terms of luxury, there are locations which are gradually developing in terms of luxury. For example, the area, Aberdeen area, these are locations that has actually grown over the years in a more rapid way. Similarly, like for in the western area, rural against locations like Turkey, uh, beaches around Number Peninsula, um, extending to Mama Beach, Laka, all these beaches along the peninsula. These are luxury locations that have been growing in terms of value. For example, along the Lumley and Aberdeen Beach. In 2004, value of properties along that locations would cost just like total lot at those locations. We are 2014. We are around. Um, let me see. I remember the last transaction was $75,000. We did a valuation in 2014. Two piece of lands. It was sold for $75,000. And for today, like fast forward, today you cannot have a piece of land for $75,000, a piece, a plot within those locations, Lumley Beach and Aberdeen Beach. $75,000 cannot have you one plot, one lot, just 55 by 75 square, 3,750 square foot cannot get you even a piece of land. That's a same plot. So the cost of luxury actually has a name in terms of a class. Now, at the same time, they are in short supply. These areas have grown rapidly, yeah, and the value of property within those locations are increasing. Yes, because of the development within the area in the past 5 years since after Ebola, there has been very enormous. So the incredible buildings have come up, and the place has attracted investment in terms of the road pavement with during 2010, 2012 to date. So all these area attracted a lot of appetite for those locations. And number two, Turkey, and all those peninsula area, they are also coming up because prices has been growing up. I remember number two, we in 2016 we had a transaction there for 8 million leos around number two river, 8 million leos around 2014 for a plot of land. And surprisingly, $8,000, which could cost around over 100 million, over a billion leons, cannot even have you at 18, sorry, that same plot. So looking at that, $8,000 cannot have you a piece of land today in number two. So looking at how the prices has grown in response to demand that has been growing in those areas. So luxury apartments has to do with location. Has to do with appetite. So once the populations is attracted to that location, then definitely price will shoot up. And they are, because they are in short supply, then definitely it will be very difficult for you to have a property. And one aspect of luxury locations in terms of these areas that I've identified, Badin and Turkey and number two River Beach, because they are in short supplies, you cannot have, there are few properties on market in those locations, and that's actually contribute to the value. And so if you have property you are considering in terms of resale, the luxury property could be your option because the resale value is always high. Hello.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Kebe, whilst you were doing your submission, you constantly use words like value, value. So I would love for you to share with my viewers, how can somebody know the value of a particular property? Please explain to us.
Yes, when we refer to value in real estate or property, realty, real property, you're not refers to the price that we are the buyers and the sellers actually agreed on. So values has to do with the future economic value from owning that property. For example, if I'm to own a piece of lot within any locations in the central, then the value is when how much, what would be the future economic value of that property in terms of resale? Yes. So what would market offer for that property in terms of uses? Then what would be the value of that property in terms of resale? So isn't about how much people are willing to pay for that property, um, a similar property within locations. Then what kind of feature do those properties has that actually has the potential to yield income at the end of the day? So these are um, the difference between price and value. Price is actually what we agreed on, the buyer or the seller, or value is what would that property generate as an income, whether it is rental income at the end of the day if you are going to construct a rental building, whether a commercial building, the rent income, or what would be the resale value of that particular property if you decide to sell now in a market where we have the willing buyer and willing seller. There are much more fear about all the uses that this property can be put into. So this is what we refer to value in terms of real property. Sorry.
Okay,
So
thank
so
you very
if you are planning, so if you are planning to buy a
much.
property, you would have to consider these two factors. What will be the going income that I will be generating from this property, or what will be the resale value of this property when I decide to sell at the end of the day? How much money would I get back? So these are very important. That's why location is very important. For example, there are locations in East 2, is three, or along the peninsular villages that we've not discussed yet. For now, the property, the value of the price of the property is very low. But obviously, because they are low and they don't have, it doesn't mean they don't have value. Maybe with time, event or activities or infrastructural development can actually add value if they have access to electricity, water supply, good road, maybe some other development within the neighborhood. All those can create appetite for that location, and it will attract a huge interest in those locations, and that would actually um, uh, um, result to the value going up. So similarly, some property may have value, but because of certain eventuality that occur in that neighborhood, then that and people will lose interest for those locations, and the value would come down again.
Okay, so basically, the features that a particular property has sometimes add to its value, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you very much. So in this case, Mr. KB, personally, if
Mm.
you are in a situation where you want to buy a particular property, which of these locations would you love to purchase a property from?
All right. Okay, Khadija, before I respond to that question, I would want to share the area in terms of Western rural area, rural areas. Recently, the Western rural have just shared a location. The the various um, the various communities that form up the western area, and they divide this location into zones. um, Zones where we have zone 1. In these zones, zone 1, you have to Koya rural. We mentioned Koya rural. These are locations, by extension, beyond Waterloo. You have Songo Colony, we have Bramaton. All these areas, they were part of Koya Rural District, Uni Chiefdom, Mashaka. But now they have actually been added on to Western area rurals, forming part of the Western area rural community. So, if you want to buy a property along this location that you might not be interested in developing it now, maybe these locations would be your perfect guess. For example, one piece of land in this location would only cost like 8 million, 6 million, 5 million. Somebody told me about 5 millions in a certain community around this Makono. Yeah, so it depends to my price. Sorry, my budget, what I have at the moment. So these are all the villages that are actually part of the western area rural. So if I want to buy a property, and but I'm not interested in investing in the property now, then definitely this location would be my first choice. But if you go, for example, a 5 here, we have another locations, Western. For zone 3, we have another locations, zone 4, sorry, we have another location that are also developing. We have Leicester Village, Gloucester Village, Regent, Batos, um, Mongeba, Grafton, and Kosotom. These are villages that are also coming up. Prices, they have attracted a huge middle income earners as well as high income earners to this location. So if I want to buy a property now, and my purpose is to invest in a residential property for me and my family, then or to have a multi-residential apartment, maybe this I will consider these locations. Some for zone 5 we have Hastings, Rubamba, Yams Farm, Rokel, Condolo, and Devil Hole. All these areas are growing up, although they are semi informal community at the moment because of their planning access to certain amenities or facility. So I would have to consider these locations. These locations. So it depends on my purpose. For if my purpose is for me to have just a residential area, then I will choose any of these locations. But if I wanted to invest in a if I wanted to invest if I wanted to invest in locations where I would want to have my shopping shops.
Hello, Mr. Kebe? Hello, I think the network is giving us. Hello, Mr. Kebe? Hello? Okay, so as Mr. Kebe mentioned earlier, for a property to have a particular value or a value, the individual that is, selling this property needs to ensure that there are certain features that are attracted to the customers, because when a particular property has certain features, for example, if you want to buy or sell a particular property, you need to ensure that there is proper electricity or at least water supply. So if these features are found in a particular property, I believe that it will attract a lot of people out there. So, and also if you are going in for, let's say, a commercial property, or you are going for a particular property that the purpose is for commercial mainly, then you need to ensure that this particular property that you are going for needs to be in a particular environment that attracts a lot of people. And also, if you are interested in luxury, you know, properties, you need to ensure that you invest as much as you can in that particular property so that it can attract those who are interested to go in for luxurious properties. So, hello, hello, hello. Okay, welcome back. Mr. Kebe, please unmute your mic. Welcome back. We apologize for that. Hello? Mr. Kebe, please unmute your mic. Welcome back.
Yes.
And we apologize for that.
Yes, sorry about that. All right, so
It's
it's
okay.
okay.
So, Mr. Kebe, you were discussing about some of the areas or zones that if you were to buy a particular property, you would love to go in for. So kindly take us through that.
So, again, I was referring to the mountain community, the Leicester, the region, the cluster, grafting. State nations are actually growing residential nations. They have been access to electricity. Some areas have access to electricity, while do not. Then so if you said in residential apartment, whether for let or for your own house, then these locations would be your best choice. Then if you are after that real estate company estate investor, you are interested in buying it, then I would also an area urban could be then again could be your best option. Central 1, Central 2, these are really commercial areas, major
Hello, Mr.
areas,
Kebe.
community, major cities, major communities.
Hello.
Yes,
Sorry about that. Please check your mic.
can you hear?
Hello.
Mike, okay.
Yes, please check it.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, sure. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Hello, Karija, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Continue. Please continue.
All right. So I was saying, so if you are that commercial real estate investor to have rental income for street, then we said one or two west one and west two could be your location, your best option. That would be my best option because I have a short front between these locations and short supply, and there's a huge for them. But if I'm interested in a multi building for high class, then we move the path of
Hello?
field station, sports Wilberforce.
Sorry about that, sir. Please
Hello,
check your mic.
Khadija.
Yes, sir. Please check your mic.
Okay. I'm sorry. I
Sorry.
can hear you very well. Hello?
Yes, sir. Please
Is
continue.
it okay now? Right. So, if you are interested in this location, in family, sorry, multi-buildings for furnished, then mountain of growth hill station that three planting, uh, the sporus follow with the forest, again, with kids to the all nations farming are suitable for multi apartment for high end client. Then there is one supply of office spaces. Then location that are purely designed for office with short supply for especially those corporate institutions, large institutions, as well as agencies. They are in very short supply because what is required is people have multiple buildings. So if you have, they actually have the buildings potential as well as the office space. So it's like investing in high rise buildings in terms of office space, west two and west three best options. Areas like River Falls, Utility Road, the train station, less areas where we have the major agencies. For example, we have embassy on Leicester or Hill Station, the European Union, we have the UNDP Force, we have the World Bank, Wilberforce, so these locations, they are all have data. So
Hello?
you would have to be very, very close in terms of
Hello, Mr. Kibe?
Yes.
Please, the
Hello,
Bluetooth
can you hear
sound is
me?
bad. Yes, kindly check it. The Bluetooth sound is bad.
Uh, Hello, is it
Hello?
okay now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, it's okay.
Yes, can you hear me? So this is how we conclude this application. It all depends on your goals of investment as well. Who is your target customer? Once you are able to determine your target customer project, and then you will set the allocation in terms of these two factors.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kibe. I believe all of these information that you've rendered to us will serve as a guide to our viewers and also um, our customers out there. So I believe this is how we have successfully come to the end of today's episode. Thank you very much, Mr. Kibe, for making it a point of duty to be here, and we hope to have you in our subsequent editions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And I'm very sorry for the noise and the computer. We have internet connectivity plus the disadvantage of technology. Once you have unstable internet connectivity, we are sorry about that. Not to correct this
Hello.
issue, we would have.
Okay, so like I stated earlier, this is how we have successfully come to today's episode, to the end of today's episode. If you have comments, questions, and recommendations, kindly share them with us as we are going to be addressing them in our subsequent episodes. Don't forget to follow all our social media platforms, especially on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the notification bell for you to never miss an update. I have been your amazing host, Miss Khadija Tubai.